Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of Treble with Missy and Thor. We got Missy here,
Hi, everybody.
and I'm trying to think about how to start
Hi.
the. Yeah, hi. Can I do a seductive hi? Hi.
Hey, Thor.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my chair.
You are a little technical difficulty.
This
You want to
chair is like
call it that?
totally squeaking. Like I just sat down. It's like, hang on.
Okay. So as Thor is getting comfortable over there,
I'm having issues over here.
we wanted to do a little recap of last week's episode and talk a little bit about what we're going to be getting into next week, which is music therapy. And Thor and I will also be discussing our own musical like endeavors and whatnot. Or-
This has to be totally straight.
Anyways,
I'm like this
are
OCD.
you done getting everything straightened out?
When I've had too much caffeine, I turn into this like OCD freak, and it's like this has to be centered. This has to be perfect.
Yeah, try having a lesson with them after 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, you'll be
Anyways,
sorry.
back to the ruler.
Yeah.
Anyways, so why don't we do a little recap
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
we talked about last week? And that was the topic of
Of talent, yeah,
yes.
and that's a really good idea because I know last week, I think only like 5 or 6 people actually saw the whole video.
Well, we took it down right away.
Yeah, we took it down because the the volume was way too high.
He
So I
was too
think,
high, I was too low. So
yeah, I sounded like Chewbacca growling into the mic, and she was like, it was like a mime, like you can hear anything. So hopefully this is better, and this is like a learning experience for both of us.
yes.
But I think we're good for tonight. And yeah, the recap is like we basically talked about talent. And I know if you heard any part of last week, this is a little bit of a repetition, but it's good because I sounded like a guttural monster just growling that like that. So the recap basically is that we discussed this concept of what some people say when they see somebody playing a musical instrument and they're like, wow, you must have a gift, right? Have you
Hmm.
heard that term when they say that?
Oh yes, I have.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And I'm sort of challenging that concept because I do think it's a giant misconception when you say that somebody just has a gift, especially when you use the word just, because
Hmm.
it's like, oh, he just has a gift. That's why he can play that well. And they always have the best of intentions when they say that. And I don't have a problem with that at all. But it is a little bit of a misconception because I think that when people are really talented, the most of the time, or the main way that they gain those skills is because they acquire it during their lifetime, and it's not like something that was in their genes before they were born. you know.
Yes.
So that's just kind of the idea that I was pushing for, and I think you mostly agreed with that, right?
Yes. And we also discussed how like there are those rare occasions
Yeah.
where someone will have the ability
Hmm.
to play music very well at a very young age.
Yeah, and very quickly, and learn
Yes.
it very quickly. And those kind of things, like if you are, let's say you're 5 years old and you take lessons for 1 year, and all of a sudden you can play like at a level that most people takes 20 years to get to. That concept and that phenomenon is extremely rare. It does happen, but it's very rare. So if you think it'll happen to you, that's like thinking, yeah, I'll win the lottery one day. It's very, very rare for that to happen.
Yes.
So most of the time, this gift that people talk about is acquired through training and working hard and effort and putting in hours a day of practice and starting young. That's another factor that plays into it. But you might be watching this and you're like 30 or 40 years old and you think, well, that ship's already sailed. That's not going to happen to me. But don't despair because you can still do that. It just might take you a little bit longer if you're older. That's all that means. And by that, I mean, if you're 6 or 7 years old, scientists talk about something called, if I can get this term right, neuroplasticity.
Hmm.
Have you heard that before? This is me using big words when I've had too much coffee. That's scary right
But you are an English teacher, in all fairness.
there. I never said I was a good one.
That's for another podcast.
Good thing I'm not like a technology, you know, counselor or something.
Yes,
Put the
counselor.
microphone
I
correctly.
didn't know such thing existed, but go on.
It doesn't. That's why I'm not one of them. Okay, so anyway, neuroplasticity has to do with the brain. And when you start taking music lessons at a very young age, you potentially can learn it very, very quickly because your brain is like a sponge. That is kind of the layman's terms way of explaining that. And so people who start young, if they stick to it and they keep going to their lessons and their parents make them keep going to the lessons or whatever, and they practice every day, they can learn something very quickly in an astonishing amount of time and learn it really well to the point where by the time they're 15 or 16 years old, they just play amazing stuff on whatever instrument that they've trained on. So it's scientific. It is not like something mysterious that you, it's not like, before somebody's born, like when you're in the womb, God is like, give him piano playing ability. It doesn't really work like that.
No. It's
So,
not instantaneous at all,
yeah.
and it's something that you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of patience with for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it takes hard work. That's the thing. So, and this isn't like, it's so let me put it this way. Like if I'm playing something on an instrument, like whether it be a piano or guitar or anything else, and somebody looks at me and says, "Oh, you just have a gift." Like it is a compliment in a way, but it's also like, okay, it didn't have anything to do with the hours and hours of hard work and sweat that I put into, playing the instrument. Like it sort of undermines the person's effort a little bit.
Yes.
And the person using that term doesn't mean it to be like demeaning. It,
No,
it is a
not at all.
compliment, but it's like,
Yes.
it's not really a gift. I worked for this kind of.
Yes.
And you talk to most seasoned professional musicians, and they will
Mhm.
tell you the same thing. Um, and there's you're gonna laugh at this because there's a background story that I'm not gonna get into, but
Mhm.
you know the instrumentalist Yanni.
Yes, I do.
I know there's a background story that you're thinking about,
Yes.
but so Yanni is a keyboardist and a pianist. I'm sure some of you have known him, and I know there's at least two people probably watching that's laughing their head off right now because of other inside jokes that I don't want to get into. Um, but I'm going to sound like a total nerd, but he wrote a memoir, and I read it. He's not the best writer because English was his second language. I mean, he's Greek, so his writing is not very good, but he's an amazing musician. So his memoir sold like millions of copies. And he said in his memoir, he said, I actually have an issue with the word gift when they describe this to me because I have spent, sometimes I spent 10 hours in a recording studio working and working and working and just toiling and, you know, um, working away and spending all that effort and, just on 8 cups of coffee and not sleeping and, going, 5 hours without eating and just working on my craft. And you just tell me that it's just because of a gift. Well, it's because of the hard work. So I kind of want you guys to keep that in mind. Not that telling somebody that somebody has a gift is a bad thing, but what you should say is more like, wow, you must have worked really hard on that. How many hours a day do you practice? That is a much bigger compliment, don't you think?
Exactly, because that's something that a lot of musicians don't have that. I don't think that that conversation is really brought to the table
Yeah.
very often because there are a lot of hours that are put in, especially when you're getting ready for a concert, let's say with an orchestra
Mhm.
or with, um, I was a member of the Oroville Community Chorus and Band and other music, uh, organizations. But the fact of the matter is, I think that discussion needs to be it brought to the table to more music lessons,
Yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
the parents need to have that communication with their kids when they're having those private music lessons to say, hey, when you come home from your lesson, you need to review your music,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you've heard this, but if your child comes home from their lesson within the first 24-hour period and reviews their music, they will retain 80% more from their lesson than if they were to sit down and review their music after that 24-hour period.
Yeah. So they've done these like studies that have shown all this
Yes,
stuff, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
And one of the things I brought up last podcast that you probably didn't hear, but because it was excruciating to hear my voice in the last podcast, because like I said,
It sounded like he was screaming.
I did. I was like, rah, rah, rah.
Too bad you don't have a recording of that. You can put it in
I
a future
know.
blooper. But anyways,
We were like, should we delete this? She's like, delete it now. I'm like, beep, beep, beep.
take it off.
Take it out, take it down. No good. No, I'm really glad you mentioned that because one of the things I mentioned last time is I actually quoted two different authors. Was it three? It was two. One was John Powell, who is a British physicist who wrote books about the science of music and the science of composition and the science of learning music and actually what happens in the brain when you learn music. So there's science that backs this up. This is not something we're just spouting out. Um, so the good news is when it comes to this gift, you can acquire that gift by taking lessons and starting. Even if you are not 6 years old, you're already 30 or 40 or 50 years old and you think, oh, I'm too old. No, you're not. The difference though with age is that let's say you're like 40 or
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you how old
If
she is.
you're young like me.
When you're 22 like her, right? No.
Yes.
Let's say you're 40 years old, okay? You're middle aged or whatever, and you've never taken an instrument in your life. You've never taken lessons. You don't know the first thing about music. You listen to it, but you don't play an instrument. You can still take lessons. It might just take you a little bit longer to get to a point where you can be like amazing than it would be for a 6 year old. Okay.
Mhm.
So a 6 year old, if he or she plays the cards right, can get to a point where they're really good by the time they're teenagers. But that requires practicing every day, which means their parents have to kind of be on them. Like, no, you need to practice every day. They have to have good
Mhm.
parenting.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they kind of won't do it. They want to go out and play with Power Rangers or
Yes.
whatever. So
Although there are some students that are self-motivated.
they are, yeah.
Yes,
Personalities do make a little bit of a
they
difference.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
So it depends on personalities, parenting, stuff like that. So a 6 year old can get very, very good in a relatively short amount of time. Now, if you're 40 and you take lessons, you can still get that good, but it might take you like 10 or 12 years. But if you're 40, I mean, come on, you still have 40 or 50 or 60 years of your life left. You have plenty of time. So you should sign up today.
Yes.
That's my my
That's
promo.
your okay.
How's that?
Yeah. So no, but I mean I have adults who approach me all the time that said, I've always wanted to learn a musical instrument
Yeah.
and now was a good time for me.
Mhm.
So or maybe when they grew up their parents didn't have the money to pay for the lessons.
Yeah.
So it's never too late to learn. I've had students as late into their 60s
Mhm.
taking music, and it's very rewarding in its own.
It is. And, I got to tell you, when you're an adult, it's actually really fun. The oldest student I have, I think he's close to 60 years old. He might be past 60. I've
Yes.
never asked him, and I'm not going to ask somebody who's old enough to be my father, like how old he is, but he's been taking lessons with me for a while, a number of months now. I want to say maybe 7 or 8 months. And it's just fun because, like, I think he's retired. So I think it's like a bucket list kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is something I've always wanted to do. And now I have the time and the money to do it. Why not? So it's a really good bucket list. And if you're an adult, it's just fun because you don't have a parent forcing you to do it. You're doing it on your own. And it's a fun project. And sometimes it will be challenging, but that is a good challenge. It's like taking up a new hobby.
Yes.
And it has, even if you're not pursuing it as a professional endeavor, it has just a whole slew of benefits that we've talked about before on this podcast.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
And music could be therapeutic in its own too,
Yeah.
which we're going to be getting into in this next week because there's actually like real musical therapists out there, and it's like a real thing. Once
Hmm.
you talk a little bit about that, Thor.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Are you sure I'm not like taking over the
No,
thing?
go
Okay.
for it.
So actually, I mentioned this. I did a Facebook Live video yesterday, which I barely remember because I was like so tired.
He was tired.
I had like bags under my eyes, and but one of the things that I've learned very little about this, but I had a friend back in 2010 who was a music therapist, and that's what she did for a living. That was her job. So
Yes.
there are jobs, careers, where you are a music therapist, and that's what your job. You go to different like hospitals and clinics, and you play music for patients who are ailing. So these are patients who might have a variety of issues. I think they're usually brain related,
Hmm.
and I'm no neurologist or anything, believe it or not, but my friend, that was her job. So she worked for the state hospital down in Tulare County, and she would drive to these places where they had these patients who had one of the things I mentioned was Parkinson's disease. And what they've discovered is that the music, when you play certain kinds of music for them, it actually alleviates some of the symptoms, and it actually helps heal some of the problems that are associated with that disease. And this is also true for other diseases. So there's actually science that backs this up. It's really amazing. So you can,
Exactly.
if you are between careers right now, you can go to school and get your license in music therapy and find a job and play music for a living. How would that be, right?
That would be so cool.
Yeah. It involves a lot of studying and work because you have to go to college and actually get a degree in this apparently.
Mhm.
But and it does involve a lot of like you have to understand things like how diseases work. So it is a little bit of a thing where you have to study
A
the
lot of
med.
hours involved for sure, on
Yeah.
top of
And I think you have to do,
studying
yeah, you have to
music.
do like clinic hours and you have to
Yes,
understand medicine a little bit. So it's not just like you get to play the guitar every day.
exactly. And for
But,
some time, my daughter Kaylin
mm.
saw a music therapist here,
Oh,
and
wow.
she was
Yeah.
actually a member of the guild, and I knew her very well. And my daughter was going through, she was going through her junior high stages or whatever, and I thought it'd be very beneficial for her to
Mm,
um, go to someone who was a music therapist.
mm.
And my daughter had a background in music, so it was something that she really enjoyed, and
Yeah.
for the time that she was in it. But and then the music therapist moved away. But I have a very dear friend of mine. Her name is April Taylor, and she is going to be joining us next week. Yay, we're so excited.
I'm
April's
really
gonna,
excited. Yeah.
she's going to be talking with us and with you about what she does. She's from Oroville, California. I knew her mother very well. Her mom's name was Glenna Batson, and we were involved with the Monster Concert and Music Guild. And I'm sure April's got a list of uh, things she's been involved with in the community and so forth. So she's an amazing, amazing person, and I'm really excited. She's going to be able to come here and well, she's not going to be here. She's going to be here. We're going to have her on speakerphone, but she's going to be able to share with us what she does for a living and how um, music therapy helps people who she's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I'm really excited about
around.
that too
Yes.
because I've been very curious about it and the little tidbits that I've been giving you about what I know regarding music therapy are is just what I know so far. So I'm really wanting to kind of pick her
Yeah,
brain a little
and
bit
there's
and
not many music
yeah,
therapists out there. That's the thing.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
very hard to come by. And so the fact that I knew one and that she was
mm.
willing to come on the show and talk to us, I'm really, really excited.
Yeah. And one thing I've heard too is that again, I'm not an expert. I don't know the names of all these different conditions. I think April probably does,
Yes.
but there are people with things like cerebral palsy that might have speech impediments. And I think I know there's other conditions where their speech is affected to where sometimes they can't speak at all.
Yes.
So these are like stroke patients, the elderly that have strokes. And one thing I heard or read, I'll have to check, so don't quote me on it, but some stroke patients, for example, uh, maybe are not able to speak anymore. They can't because they can't move a part of their face, their
Yes.
mouths, right? But music therapists can play music for them and get them to sing.
Hmm.
And once they're able to sing, then they can start talking again, stuff like that. So
Yes.
music actually literally heals certain ailments. And even without a professional music therapist, even aside from that, they have proven that most types of music lowers your what do you call it? Your blood pressure.
Yes.
It relaxes you. It lowers your stress level, like in a very literal clinical way. Like it's been proven to actually improve your immune system, things like that. And I think that's most type of music too. It's not just Yanni.
Yes.
So
I
even
know I've had students who were, survivors of the campfire here.
mhm,
And I had a couple students in which uh, piano was very healing for them. And their mom said that that was the first thing they went to when they came home from school, was they sat down at the piano and they would play. And so we encourage you out there that if you would like to get involved with the musical instrument, that you do so,
mm,
because it's definitely healing. Uh, it's been very healing for me. It's been
yeah,
an outlet ever since I was little. Um,
yeah.
it's just wonderful to have for sure.
Mhm.
But anyways, on another note, let's talk about a little bit about Thor and Missy.
Are we bragging? Is that what we're
Just
doing?
a little,
Which is
just a
just a
little
little.
bit.
Okay.
What
Do
time
you,
are we at right now?
we still got 9 or 10 more
Okay,
minutes. Yeah.
well, you could just take that up, just like talking about yourself.
I'll give you a chance to.
Okay, that's nice.
So yeah, there's a few things that we want to say because we want to promote a few things because I forgot one thing when we started because I was wrestling with a chair and I was losing. So
And the plant.
and the plant. No, I was
This is gonna be
rectifying the plant.
great
Okay.
for a blooper.
Yeah, it is. So first of all, as you know, we do these podcasts from Apollo Music and Arts, which is a piano gallery.
Yes.
So if you haven't done so yet, come check it out. They sell pianos here, including the upright pianos and the grand pianos and digital pianos for a whole range of different prices
And guitars.
and guitars. Yeah, and they also do piano tuning and they do piano delivery and they do piano repair. So you can anything related to pianos, you
If you
can.
need to have a piano move,
Yep.
you can do
Or
that too.
gotten rid of or acquired into your house, you can do that too. You can finance them. So if you don't have money for a piano, you can pay a little bit every month, and I know you can afford it because you can because you have Netflix and you're paying for that. If you're a smoker, you can quit smoking and use that money to pay every month for a piano. So I know there's a way you can make that happen. So just drop by, and the owner Vince is great. He'll tell you the funniest stories. He's really friendly, very approachable. So
Yes.
so I want to give a shout out to him. Now, what else did I want to say?
You're going to talk about yourself.
Yeah, it was because I have. This is just an opportunity that I want to take to do this. We have the YouTube channel we use right now is Treble with Missy and Thor, which is the podcast. If you go onto playlists, which is on the channel, and you find I think it's called Thor's Music, and it has a whole bunch of YouTube videos of just my songs. You can use that route to subscribe to my other channel, which is just my first and last name, which nobody can spell. Even credit card companies get it wrong. So, like Thernstein, like that's not even
Thernstein.
close. Anyway, and they put H on Gunther, you know. So, but you go in
Just
there.
change your name to Yanni.
Yeah, change it to Yanni. Yeah, that's an easy way to spell. That's what I should do.
Talk to Jesse about that. Go on.
Yeah, Yanni too. Okay, so you can in order to do that, so you can go there and be sure to subscribe to my other channel because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uploading a lot of new videos of my piano songs and covers too. I'm going to put covers on there. I just have to check to make sure it's legal.
He's going to make it legal.
Yeah.
And just to put it out there, Thor and I will be performing. We will show you we can play the piano. So
we've just been faking it the whole time. We can't really play.
No, but we are going to be performing. And so we will let you know. So keep on
coming.
Checking in on us because it's going to happen. Yeah. And if you subscribe, you'll be surprised. It's going to come up and then you're going to see a performance and you're going to go, wow, I'm glad I waited for this.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the thing is, not that these podcasts are like terribly excruciating. I hope not. I hope you're enjoying it. But,
to some degree.
Some people are like, oh God, shut up, guys. No. But what's really cool is because some people are like, well, why would I subscribe? I can just watch it. You know, here's the difference because you do get a certain benefit. I mean, it's free. And when you subscribe, what'll happen is anytime you're online or on YouTube, you'll get a notification telling you that we have uploaded a new video.
Yes. Okay. Whether it's one of these, whether it's a blooper, or if it's actually us playing an instrument.
Yeah.
Which in my case would be the piano. In your case, it might be the violin or the piano.
You can make me play the violin. I see how.
Yes, you want to see me play the violin?
Squeak.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, but that's really good because you'll get a little notification on YouTube saying, you know, Missy and Thor are live right now, and you can just click it and watch it. And you'll get like we can like do newsletters and we can like keep you informed of what's going on so that you could keep coming back and supporting us, and you get entertained, especially when she's had too much coffee. And
I have water in here right now, everybody.
You had coffee earlier, didn't you?
I guess so.
Oh, I totally spilled it.
I had a drop. Anyways.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways, so subscribe because you'll be able to get those automatic notifications whenever we're saying something funny or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, anyways.
Well, and I could actually tie this back into the music therapy again too, because what I've thought about doing is maybe making an album of piano songs specifically for people who do meditation or people who do like things like acupuncture or yoga or any kind of like healing stuff they do. And people have actually done that.
Mhm.
My dad has some friends up in Plumas County that I think bought one of my CDs, and they use it for their therapy sessions. They use it for their, I think, yeah, acupuncture and or meditation sessions, things like that. And they've actually used some of that music and other like relaxing type of music too, because it is beneficial and it does help you relax. Um, so I think so I might use some of my music to kind of promote that for that type of audience.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in doing that, I have individual downloads of my song on my website too. You can
Cool.
just go on there. It's like 99 cents, which is, I know, huge expense, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I
Yeah.
was gonna
Yeah.
talk a
Go
little
for
bit
it.
about myself. So, my little project, my baby, is the Paradise Symphony Orchestra. We've kind of been on a standstill because of COVID-19, but we're still planning on moving forward in 2021. And our newest, I think, concert is going to be in January, and Dr. Bradley and Dr. Bowman are going to be performing at that concert. So I'm really excited about that. I was going to perform in October, but because of
It's not
COVID, we
safe.
had to cancel. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't safe. So, anyways, and then just so you know, for those who are out there, I am a church musician, and I'm also more of a classical musician, not like Thor's not, but we kind of have two.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we kind of have two different styles, which makes us unique, and that's why I think we're able to really kind of bounce off of each other because we have two different perspectives, but we're also very much alike in the same that we totally respect each other's desires in
Mm.
music and creativity and so forth. So, anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. But and I will be performing. I will be performing soon. I tried in October, but just didn't
Either way, we'll be
happen.
performing here for you
Yes.
guys.
Now
Either
maybe
way.
we
So.
can get Mindy involved too.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
definitely.
that be nice? She's
That
a
would be nice.
violinist we know, and I've actually
She's
I've
my
done
violin teacher.
I've done some recordings with her, believe it or not. We've done some Piano Guys covers actually
Yeah.
together, and she was
Wow.
able to transpose the cello part to the violin.
She's very good about
Oh my
transposing. Yeah.
gosh! Yeah, she was
Yeah.
playing on all
That's
different
not easy,
directions
by
on
the
the
way.
neck.
For any of
It's
you
not.
musicians, you have to transfer from bass clef to treble clef, and you have
Yeah.
to calculate it in your head. Well, that's
I
two
mean,
notes.
I literally put the sheet music in front of her for the cello, and she played it on the violin
On the spot.
on the spot,
Wow.
and I played my part on the spot, and we played it together, and I have some recordings on my phone, which is really cool.
I just recently played. It was on the violin. Um, I played the violin, and I was playing Telemann's D major concerto, but it was for the trumpet,
Wow.
and the trumpet is tuned to a D major, so I had to calculate and transpose two uh, whole tones away on the violin and do that instantaneously, and I did it.
That's awesome. Go
Sorry, I'm bragging.
Thor.
And people that don't play music are like, "What is he talking about?" Like, it sounds Greek to me, but I
It's
don't know. It's okay.
it's a pretty cool thing.
It's pretty.
Just know that.
I was very proud of it. I was like, I did it. I was like a little kid.
That's awesome.
So yeah. Okay. So what is the website for the Paradise Symphony? Do you have it on?
It's the website for the Paradise Symphony is www.paradisesymphony.org. Very simple. All lowercase. We just uh, did a whole we did a whole new website. Jason helped with the website design. It's amazing. We're having a newsletter go on the website probably in the next day or so, and so check it out. And you can look into maybe becoming a member of the society. And we're going to be doing some fundraisers, hopefully coming up in the next couple months, probably in the new year actually.
Mm,
But there might be more like online events.
yeah.
Due to COVID, but we'll see what happens. But
Mm,
anyways,
yeah.
I am really excited about next week.
Yeah, I'm too. So yeah,
Yeah.
be sure to tune in next week because, like I said, we're gonna have that music therapist here, but she's gonna be through speakerphone, and we're gonna try to have her just talking to the speakerphone and have it be heard, so you can
It
hear
will
her.
be heard because we're
Yeah.
going to test it out
We're gonna
ahead of
test it
time.
out. Yeah, we know how that goes. And we're just gonna ask her questions about what it's like to be in that profession, in that line of work, because
Yes,
I'm
and
very curious about it.
she's a teacher, she's a
Mm,
mom. Like I said, she's been teaching for for several years, and I know her. I knew her mom, and she is just a wonderful, wonderful person. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited that she's going to join us next week for sure.
Yeah, me too. So make sure and join us next week to see that because it's going to be the first time we have a guest speaker on here.
Yes,
So
our first guest speaker.
yeah, it's not
Exciting.
just going to be us; it's going to be
No.
somebody else. So.
Yes.
Okay, are we good?
Okay. Yes, we are
Thank you.
good. Thank you, Thor.
So yeah, join us next week and make sure to comment, subscribe, and I hope I didn't sound like a big terrifying monster over the microphone this time.
I hope
And if I
not
did, I
either.
apologize.
Thank you so much,
Bye bye.
everybody. Have a great evening. Stay safe and well.